Multiple contacts, varying 035. Closing fast. Lieutenant Sarah Wong's voice cut through the bridge's usual quiet hum. Her hands flew across the tactical display as new data streamed in. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database, Captain. Captain Elena Morrison straightened in her command chair aboard the UES Dauntless, Earth's most advanced warship. After 15 months of deep space patrol, they'd encountered nothing more threatening than the occasional asteroid. Until now. "Show me," she ordered, and the main view screen shifted to display a cluster of objects decelerating from faster-than-light travel. The vessels, if that's what they were, seemed to phase in and out of normal space, their hulls reflecting the distant sunlight in impossible ways. 7 ships, Commander David Chen reported from his station. The largest is approximately 3 kilometers in length. Their bleeding radiation across multiple spectrums looks like battle damage. Morrison studied the approaching formation. After decades of searching the stars, humanity had prepared for first contact in countless ways. But nothing had prepared them for this. A fleet of damaged alien vessels fleeing from something that could cause such devastation. "They're broadcasting," Communications Officer Raj Patel announced, his augmented neural interface processing the incoming signals. It's not just one language. I'm picking up thousands of distinct patterns, but they all carry the same mathematical base sequence. A universal distress call, Morrison mused. Maximum magnification on the lead vessel. The screen zoomed in, revealing more detail of the largest ship. Its hull seemed to ripple like liquid metal, sections of it partially torn away to expose internal structures that defied human engineering principles. Through the gaps, Morrison could see emergency force fields containing atmosphere and movement within. "Life signs." "Confirmed," Chen responded. "Multiple species detected, based on varying biosignatures. Environmental conditions within their vessels appear compatible with human life support parameters." Morrison felt the weight of command settle onto her shoulders. The Dauntless was humanity's flagship, carrying the best crew and technology Earth had to offer. But they were also the first line of defense for their species, and an unknown alien fleet had just appeared at the edge of their solar system. "Captain," Wong interrupted, her voice tense. "Long-range sensors are picking up another wave of signatures, different pattern. Massive energy output. Whatever damaged these ships, it's following them." Morrison's decision crystallized. "Open a channel. Broadcast on all frequencies. Use their mathematical base sequence as a carrier." Channel open. "This is Captain Elena Morrison of the United Earth ship Dauntless. We stand ready to render assistance. Please state the nature of your emergency." The response came in a burst of data that the ship's AI quickly translated into audio and text. The alien voice seemed to echo with harmonics that suggested both urgency and fear. "Captain Morrison, I am High Commander Zextel of the Combined Refugee Fleet. We carry the survivors of 17 worlds, all that remains of our civilizations. We fled across 12,000 light years, hoping to find species capable of standing against what follows us. Our sensors detected your quantum technology signatures. You may be our last hope." Before Morrison could respond, Wong's tactical display erupted with new warnings. "Captain, massive gravitational disturbance detected at the edge of the system. Something's coming through. It's larger than anything we've ever encountered." The view screen shifted to show a tear in space itself, a wound in reality that stretched dozens of kilometers across. Through it emerged a shape that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. A vast crystalline structure that moved with terrible purpose. "The Harvesters," Zextel's transmission continued, terror evident despite the translation. "They consume everything. Resources, technology, life itself. They detected your quantum experiments months ago. We tried to reach you first, to warn you, but they followed. Captain Morrison, your species has achieved something remarkable with quantum mechanics that drew their attention. If there's any hope of stopping them, it lies with humanity's unique understanding of quantum physics." Morrison watched as more of the crystal ships emerged from the spatial tier. Their design was utterly alien, following geometric patterns that hurt the human mind to observe. Smaller units swarmed around them like insects, each one larger than the Dauntless itself. "How many worlds?" Morrison asked, her voice steady despite the implications unfolding before her. 342 inhabited systems in the last standard year alone, Zextal replied. None survived. None except those of us who fled. Morrison stood, her augmented eyes taking in every detail of the tactical display. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for threats from the stars, their paranoia driving them to build defenses that many had called excessive. Now, she realized, they would find out if humanity had been paranoid enough. Commander Chen, send emergency protocols to Earth Command. Maximum encryption. Lieutenant Wang, charge all weapons systems and prepare to broadcast our sensor data to the entire defense grid. Mr. Patel, maintain communications with the refugee fleet. We'll need every bit of intelligence they can provide. She turned to face her crew, each member representing the best humanity had to offer. This isn't just first contact anymore. This is humanity's first war for survival. And I promise you, we will show these harvesters exactly what they've awakened in their quest to consume our world. The Dauntless's quantum core hummed to life, its revolutionary technology representing everything that had drawn the enemy's attention. But it also represented humanity's greatest strength, the ability to understand the universe in ways that other species had overlooked. As Morrison issued orders to prepare for battle, she couldn't help but appreciate the irony. Humanity had looked to the stars for centuries, hoping to find intelligent life. Now that life had found them, bringing with it a war that would determine the fate of their species. High Commander Zextal, she transmitted, the United Earth Defense Force stands ready to assist. Welcome to the Sol system. Let's show these harvesters why they should have left humanity alone. The refugee ships fell into formation alongside the Dauntless as more human vessels emerged from their patrol routes, responding to the emergency protocols. The coming battle would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity, assuming they survived to tell the tale. In the distance, the Harvester fleet continued its implacable advance, unaware that they were about to encounter a species that had spent its entire history preparing for this moment. Humanity's paranoia, their drive to understand quantum mechanics, their relentless preparation for cosmic threats, it had all led to this moment. The war for Earth was about to begin. The art of war. The lunar defense complex stretched for kilometers beneath the moon's surface, a testament to humanity's long-standing preparation for cosmic threats. Captain Morrison stood before the assembled military leadership of Earth, her neural implants projecting the tactical data from the Dauntless's encounter directly into their shared virtual space. The harvesters have destroyed hundreds of civilizations more advanced than ours, she explained, the holographic display showing the crystalline ships in terrifying detail. But they've never encountered humans before. And that might be our only advantage. Fleet Admiral Chen Zhang nodded, his weathered face illuminated by the tactical displays. Our quantum technology drew their attention, but it's also our best weapon. Captain, tell them what your crew discovered during the initial encounter. Morrison gestured, and the display shifted to show sensor readings from the battle-damaged refugee ships. Their technology operates on principles we've barely begun to understand. But there's something they don't grasp about our quantum mechanics research. High Commander Zextal's scientists have confirmed it. Humanity's approach to quantum physics is unique. The assembled leaders watched as Morrison's data showed the fundamental differences between Earth's quantum technology and that of other species. Where others had focused on stability and predictability, humanity had embraced quantum uncertainty, incorporating it into their designs rather than trying to eliminate it. We don't just use quantum mechanics, Dr. Sarah Hassan, Earth's leading quantum physicist, stepped forward. We understand its chaos. Every other species we've encountered through the refugees tried to control quantum uncertainty. We learned to dance with it. The command center hummed with activity as tactical officers processed new data from the outer system sensors. The Harvester fleet had established a position near Neptune's orbit, their crystalline ships consuming small moons and asteroids to repair their damage and build more units. They're preparing for a systematic advance. Commander David Chen's voice came through the quantum-encrypted channel from the Dauntless. Based on refugee intelligence, they'll strip mine everything in their path, converting matter directly into more of their ships. Morrison brought up a new tactical overlay, which gives us time to prepare. Earth's quantum defense grid was designed to protect against threats we couldn't imagine. Now we know exactly what we're facing and how to hurt them. The display showed a new weapon design, one that merged human quantum technology with insights gained from the refugee fleet. Where the aliens had sought to eliminate quantum uncertainty from their systems, this weapon would amplify it, creating localized areas where reality itself became unpredictable. The quantum destabilizer, Dr. Hassan explained. It turns their greatest weakness, their rigid crystalline structure, against them. They can't adapt to quantum uncertainty the way our systems can. Hit them with enough quantum chaos, and their ships should literally fall apart. Admiral Zhang studied the projections. How long to implement this across the fleet? 3 weeks to modify our primary weapon systems, Morrison replied. The refugees are already helping us upgrade the Dauntless as a prototype. Their technical knowledge, combined with our quantum theories, is creating capabilities we never thought possible. The lunar facility shook slightly as massive fabricators deep below the surface began construction. Earth had spent centuries building hidden manufacturing capabilities, paranoid preparation that now seemed prescient. The harvesters don't know about our secondary manufacturing facilities, Zhang noted. They detected our quantum research, but our distributed defense infrastructure remained hidden. Another advantage of human paranoia. Morrison brought up the latest intelligence from the refugee fleet. We've learned that the harvesters operate like a biological system. Each ship is part of a larger whole. They've never failed to consume a civilization because they've never encountered one that could truly hurt them. We're going to change that. The command center's main screen showed Earth's combined fleet mobilizing. Ships that had been hidden in asteroid bases and beneath planetary surfaces emerged, their quantum cores pulsing with new power. The refugees watched in amazement as humanity's true military strength was revealed. They expected to find a young civilization, Morrison continued. Instead, they found one that never stopped preparing for the worst. Every time someone called us paranoid for building these defenses, we built more. Every time they said we were alone in the universe, we designed weapons to fight threats we couldn't even imagine. Dr. Hassan's quantum calculations floated in the shared virtual space. The first test of the modified weapons will be ready in 72 hours. After that, we can begin full-scale production. Admiral Zhang stood, his decision made. Implement everything. I want every ship in the fleet upgraded, every defense platform modified. If these harvesters want to see what humanity is capable of, we'll show them why they should have kept searching for easier prey. Morrison's neural link pinged with a priority alert from the Dauntless. Admiral, we're detecting new signatures. The Harvester fleet is launching probes toward the inner system. They're beginning their advance sooner than expected. Then we'll just have to work faster, Zhang replied. Humanity spent centuries looking up at the stars, wondering if we were alone. Now we know the truth. We're not alone, but we might be the last line of defense against an enemy that devours entire civilizations. Captain Morrison, you have command of the frontline defense. Show them why humanity's paranoia was justified. As Morrison prepared to return to the Dauntless, she watched the massive lunar fabricators begin producing the new quantum weapons. Humanity had always been different. Their technology, their strategies, their very way of thinking. The harvesters had consumed hundreds of worlds, but they had never encountered a species that turned quantum uncertainty into a weapon. The war for survival was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy why they had never stopped preparing for this moment. Darkness descends. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with quantum fire as humanity made its stand. Captain Morrison watched from the Dauntless's command chair as the Harvester fleet approached, their crystalline ships distorting space itself as they moved. "All ships, maintain formation," she ordered, her voice carrying across the quantum-encrypted command network. "Remember your training. We've prepared for this moment." The combined Earth Defense Fleet held position near the asteroid belt, their ships arranged in a complex three-dimensional pattern designed to maximize their new quantum weapons' effectiveness. Alongside them, the refugee vessels had taken up supporting positions, their advanced shields reinforcing humanity's battle line. Multiple contacts emerging from FTL, Lieutenant Wang reported, her hands steady on the tactical controls. Rating 7 primary harvester vessels and 300 smaller units. They're deploying in attack formation. Morrison studied the enemy's approach. The harvester ships moved with perfect geometric precision, their crystalline structures reflecting the distant sunlight in ways that defied natural law. They were beautiful in their own terrible way. "They're broadcasting," Officer Patel announced. "Converting now." A voice that seemed to crack reality itself filled the bridge. "Primitive entities. Your quantum signatures have drawn our attention. Your resources will be consumed. Your knowledge will be absorbed. Resistance is inefficient." Morrison allowed herself a small smile. "Send our response." The response was simple, the first volley from Earth's modified quantum destabilizers. Beams of pure probability chaos lanced out from the human fleet, striking the lead harvester vessels. Where the energy touched crystalline hulls, reality itself seemed to shudder. "Direct hits," Wang reported, excitement creeping into her voice. "Their structural integrity is fluctuating. The quantum interference is working." The harvesters' perfect formation wavered as their lead ships experienced quantum uncertainty on a massive scale. Sections of their crystalline hulls began to shift between states of matter, unable to maintain coherence under the assault. But the enemy adapted quickly. The smaller harvester units swarmed forward, their own weapons launching streams of destructive energy toward the human fleet. Space itself seemed to burn as the battle was joined in earnest. "Evasive pattern Delta," Morrison commanded. "All ships, maintain quantum field integrity. Don't let them isolate any of our vessels." The human fleet moved with practiced precision, their formation shifting like schools of fish avoiding predators. Years of drilling for cosmic threats paid off as captains anticipated each other's movements, maintaining the complex defensive patterns needed to survive. "The harvesters are targeting our quantum cores," Commander Chen reported, analyzing tactical data. "They've identified our power source." Morrison nodded. "Just as we predicted. Implement Countermeasure Protocol 7. Throughout the fleet, ships began cycling their quantum cores in random patterns, creating a constantly shifting energy signature that confused the harvesters' targeting systems. It was another uniquely human innovation, embracing chaos instead of trying to control it. The battle raged for hours, neither side willing to give ground. Human quantum weapons tore apart harvester ships, while crystalline energy beams claimed Earth vessels in return. The asteroid belt itself began to break apart under the strain of the conflict, rocks and debris adding to the chaos of combat. "Captain," Wang's voice cut through the battle noise. 3 more harvester capital ships just emerged from FTL. They're charging some kind of primary weapon. The space between the fleets distorted as the new harvester vessels combined their power. A beam of pure annihilation lanced out, cutting through the human battle line like a scythe. 4 Earth ships vanished instantly, their quantum cores overloading in brief, brilliant flares. "Fall back to secondary positions," Morrison ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the losses. "All ships, prepare to execute Maneuver Broken Mirror." The human fleet began to retreat, apparently in disarray. The harvesters, sensing victory, pressed their advantage. Their crystalline ships surged forward, perfect formation maintained even in pursuit. "They're following the predicted pattern," Chen confirmed. "Moving into optimal position." Morrison waited until the enemy fleet had committed fully to their chase. Now, all ships, execute broken mirror. The retreating human vessels suddenly split their formation, creating dozens of smaller battle groups. Each group activated their quantum destabilizers at different frequencies, creating a web of destructive probability that caught the pursuing Harvester fleet in a crossfire of chaos. The effect was devastating. Caught between multiple sources of quantum uncertainty, the rigid crystalline structures of the Harvester ships began to break down. Their perfect formations became a liability as ships collided, unable to maintain their precise positioning under the quantum assault. Direct hits on 60% of their smaller units, Wong reported. 2 capital ships showing critical structural damage. They're actually retreating. For the first time in recorded history, a Harvester fleet withdrew from battle. Their remaining ships consolidated quickly, creating a defensive formation as they pulled back toward the outer system. But the victory had come at a cost. Nearly a third of Earth's fleet had been destroyed or disabled. The survivors bore scars from weapons that defied conventional physics, their hulls marked by crystalline growth and reality distortions. All ships maintain combat positions, Morrison ordered. This isn't over. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for our quantum weapons. The refugee ships moved to assist damaged Earth vessels, their advanced medical technology helping to save crews exposed to the Harvester's exotic weapons. High Commander Zextel's voice came through the command channel. Never in all our encounters have we seen the Harvesters retreat. Your species has achieved what we thought impossible. Morrison watched the enemy fleet regroup near Saturn's orbit. We've won the first battle, Commander. But they'll adapt. They'll analyze our tactics, develop countermeasures. The real test is still to come. The human fleet began emergency repairs, preparing for the next encounter. They had proven that humanity could hurt the Harvesters, but victory would require more than just successful tactics. It would require them to push their understanding of quantum physics even further, to develop weapons and defenses beyond anything they had imagined. The war for Earth's survival had truly begun, and humanity had shown the galaxy why they were a force to be reckoned with. But as Morrison studied the tactical data from the battle, she knew that their greatest challenges still lay ahead. Breaking point. Mars gleamed red through the reinforced windows of the underground command center, its surface now dotted with quantum defense arrays and emergency repair facilities. Captain Morrison stood before a holographic display showing the current positions of both fleets, her expression grim as she studied the tactical situation. The Harvesters have adapted faster than we anticipated, she reported to the assembled command staff. The display showed the enemy fleet's new formations, designed to minimize their vulnerability to quantum destabilization. They've developed some kind of probability shielding. Our initial advantage is nearly gone. Admiral Zhang pointed to the crew casualty reports scrolling past. 28 ships lost, another 15 severely damaged. We hurt them, but the cost. He let the sentence hang in the air, heavy with the weight of lost lives. Dr. Hassan stepped forward, her quantum equations floating in the air around her. But we've learned something crucial from the battle data, something that changes everything we thought we knew about both the Harvesters and our own technology. The scientist gestured, and the display shifted to show detailed scans of the Harvester ship's crystalline structure. Their entire civilization is based on absolute certainty. Perfect crystalline formations, predictable quantum states, rigid hierarchies. It's not just their technology, it's their fundamental nature. Which is why our quantum weapons were so effective. Morrison added, we didn't just damage their ships. We introduced an element they can't process. True quantum uncertainty. High Commander Zextel moved into the light, his crystalline skin reflecting the holographic displays. This matches patterns we never understood in our own encounters. The Harvesters didn't just attack advanced civilizations, they targeted those approaching specific technological breakthroughs. Breakthroughs in quantum physics, Dr. Hassan finished. But they attacked too soon in most cases, before those civilizations could develop what we have. Humanity's paranoia pushed us to explore quantum mechanics in ways other species never considered. We weren't just building weapons, we were accidentally developing their perfect counter. Morrison brought up the battle footage, showing how the harvester ships had reacted to the quantum destabilization fields. They're not just vulnerable to our weapons, they're afraid of them. These beings have consumed hundreds of civilizations, but they've never encountered a species that could make them feel uncertainty. The command center hummed with activity as new sensor data arrived from the outer system. The harvester fleet had grown, consuming captured material to build more ships. Their new formation showed evidence of adaptation, learning from their first defeat. They're preparing for another attack. Commander Chen reported via quantum link from the Dauntless. But this time they're being cautious. They're testing our defense perimeters with probe ships, looking for weaknesses. Morrison activated a secure channel to display classified data from Earth's deepest research facilities, which gives us time to implement what we've learned. Dr. Hassan's team has developed a new theory about our quantum cores. The display showed a radical new configuration for their quantum technology. Instead of using it just for weapons and power generation, the design would create a massive coordinated field of quantum uncertainty. We're calling it the uncertainty wave, Dr. Hassan explained. By linking every quantum core in the fleet, we can generate a cascade of probability fluctuations, not just targeting their ships, but affecting the very fabric of space-time around them. Admiral Zhang studied the calculations. The power requirements would be enormous. We'd have to divert energy from planetary defense systems, leave Earth vulnerable. Earth is already vulnerable, Morrison countered. The harvesters don't just want our resources. They want to eliminate the species that showed uncertainty can be a weapon. They'll never stop coming unless we show them something they've never seen before, a civilization that can turn their greatest fear into a universe-changing force. The refugee scientists worked alongside human engineers, combining their advanced knowledge with Earth's unique approach to quantum mechanics. Deep beneath the Martian surface, fabricators worked at maximum capacity to modify the fleet's quantum cores for the desperate gambit. "There's something else," Zextel said quietly. "Something we should have told you sooner." The alien commander's crystalline form seemed to dim slightly. "We weren't just fleeing the harvesters. We were trying to understand why they emerged now, after eons of dormancy. What we discovered, it changes everything." Morrison felt a chill as Zextel projected new data into the shared display. The information showed patterns spanning thousands of years, cycles of harvester emergence and dormancy that corresponded to specific technological developments across multiple galaxies. "They're not just consuming resources," Zextel explained. "They're enforcing a kind of cosmic certainty. Every time a civilization approaches the ability to manipulate quantum uncertainty on a large scale, the harvesters awaken. They aren't just destroyers, they're gardeners, pruning away species that might introduce chaos into their ordered universe." The implications hit Morrison like a physical force. Humanity hadn't just developed weapons that could hurt the harvesters. They had become what the harvesters had spent eons trying to prevent. A species that could prove that uncertainty and chaos were not weaknesses, but sources of strength. "How long until they attack again?" Admiral Zhang asked, his voice tight with the weight of command. 12 hours, Chen reported from the Dauntless. "Their fleet formations are tightening. They're preparing for a full assault on Mars." Morrison looked at the assembled leaders of humanity and their refugee allies. "Then we have 12 hours to prepare our response. We'll show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to face uncertainty without fear, to embrace chaos, and emerge stronger." The command center erupted into activity as final preparations began. The largest coordinated quantum event in human history was about to be attempted. Success would mean survival. Failure would mean the end of not just humanity, but of every species that dared to challenge the harvester's vision of a perfectly ordered universe. As Morrison prepared to return to the Dauntless, she caught her reflection in a darkened display screen. In her eyes, she saw the same determination she'd seen in every human crew member since this war began. The Harvesters had awakened to eliminate a threat to their perfect order. Instead, they had given humanity the opportunity to prove why chaos and uncertainty were the true forces of evolution and growth in the universe. The final battle was approaching, and humanity was ready to embrace the uncertainty that had always been their greatest strength. Humanity's stand. The red plains of Mars stretched out below the combined fleet of humanity and their refugee allies, a final line of defense before Earth. Captain Morrison stood on the Dauntless's bridge, watching as the massive Harvester fleet emerged from the darkness beyond, their crystalline ships now modified to resist conventional quantum attacks. All vessels report quantum cores synchronized, Commander Chen announced, his voice steady despite the tension. Uncertainty wave protocols are ready for activation. Morrison nodded, her augmented eyes taking in the tactical displays, showing hundreds of human ships linked together in an unprecedented network of quantum connectivity. What they were about to attempt had never been done before. Not just the scale, but the very nature of the weapon they'd created. The Harvesters are broadcasting, Officer Puddle reported. Converting now. The alien voice filled the command channel, its harmonics somehow more desperate than before. Your resistance is an anomaly. Your manipulation of uncertainty threatens universal order. You will be eliminated to preserve stability. That's where you're wrong, Morrison responded, knowing the enemy would hear. Uncertainty isn't a threat to the universe. It's what makes life possible. Evolution, growth, change. They all come from embracing the unknown. The Harvester fleet spread out in a perfect geometric pattern, their ships forming crystalline lattices that seemed to bend space itself. Energy readings from their weapons spiked off the charts as they prepared to eliminate the species that had dared to weaponize chaos. All ships, battle positions, Morrison ordered. Remember your training, but more importantly, remember who we are. Humanity didn't reach the stars by fearing uncertainty. We got here by embracing it. The first Harvester attack came like a wave of crystalline death, reality warping beams that could tear ships apart at the quantum level. But the human fleet was ready, their formations shifting in patterns that looked random but followed deeper principles of quantum probability. Uncertainty wave at 40% charge. Dr. Hassan reported from the secure facility beneath Mars. We need 3 more minutes to achieve critical probability mass. Morrison watched as the battle unfolded, human ships dancing through space in ways that defied the Harvesters' predictions. Every time the enemy adapted to one pattern, the fleet would shift to another, their movements guided by both tactical AI and human intuition. They're trying to isolate the Dauntless, Wong reported. 7 capital ships moving to surround us. Let them come, Morrison replied. Execute Chaos Protocol 3. The Dauntless's quantum core pulsed with power as it initiated a controlled probability cascade. Reality seemed to flutter around the ship as it existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously, making it impossible for the Harvesters to target effectively. Uncertainty wave at 70%. Hassan's voice crackled through the quantum link. But the Harvesters, they're reacting to the buildup. They know something's coming. The enemy fleet's perfect formations began to shift, their ships combining into larger structures that could channel unprecedented amounts of power. The space around Mars rippled as they prepared to unleash their full strength. They're not just trying to destroy us, High Commander Zextal transmitted from his vessel. They're attempting to create a zone of absolute certainty, a space where quantum uncertainty cannot exist. Morrison watched as the Harvester ships began to glow with internal energy, their crystalline structures resonating in frequencies that tried to impose order on reality itself. This was their true weapon, not just destruction, but the elimination of possibility itself. Uncertainty wave at 90%, Hassan reported. But we're detecting quantum stabilization fields from the enemy fleet. They're trying to lock down probability itself. The battle reached a fever pitch as human ships clashed with crystalline hunters. Quantum destabilizers met probability locks, reality itself becoming a battlefield as two fundamentally opposed forces competed for dominance. "They don't understand," Morrison said, her voice carrying to every human ship. "They think uncertainty is a weakness to be eliminated. But it's not just a weapon, it's who we are. All ships, prepare for final phase. Show them what humanity does best." The Harvester attack reached its peak, reality warping energy washing over the human fleet. Ships flickered between states of existence as the enemy tried to force them into quantum stability. Uncertainty wave at maximum charge. Hassan's voice cut through the chaos. "But the interference from their stability field. We can't generate a clean probability cascade." Morrison smiled. "We don't need it to be clean. Humanity has never achieved anything by being perfect. Execute final phase. Full quantum uncertainty, all ships." The combined human fleet's quantum cores pulsed as one, not fighting against the Harvester's stability field, but adding their own chaos to it. The result was beyond anything their simulations had predicted. Space itself seemed to shatter as ordered crystalline certainty met pure human chaos. The uncertainty wave didn't just affect the enemy ships. It created a cascade of probability that transformed the battlefield into a storm of quantum possibilities. The Harvester ships, designed for perfect order, couldn't adapt to the fundamental uncertainty that now permeated their very structure. Their crystalline forms began to shift between states, their rigid perfection becoming their greatest weakness. "It's working," Wang shouted over the sound of reality straining around them. "Their ships, they can't maintain coherence." The Harvester's perfect formations dissolved as their ships struggled with concepts they had spent eons trying to eliminate. Some crystalline vessels simply ceased to exist, probability itself rejecting their imposed certainty. Others transformed into new configurations, their structures rearranging into forms that could survive in a universe where uncertainty was a fundamental force. "They're retreating," Chen reported, disbelief evident in his voice. "The remaining ships are pulling back. They're running." Morrison watched as the survivors of the Harvester fleet fled, their rigid certainty shattered by humanity's embrace of chaos. The space around Mars gradually stabilized, though reality itself seemed forever changed by what had occurred. "All ships report status," she ordered, already knowing the cost would be high. But humanity had survived, and more importantly, they had proven that uncertainty wasn't a flaw to be eliminated, but a strength to be embraced. High Commander Zexel's transmission carried a tone of awe. "In all our history, no species has ever truly defeated the Harvesters. But you didn't just fight them. You showed them a fundamental truth they had spent eons denying." Morrison looked at her crew, each member representing humanity's unique ability to face the unknown with courage and creativity. "We showed them that true strength doesn't come from imposing order on the universe. It comes from embracing uncertainty, from facing the unknown with hope instead of fear." As the fleet regrouped and rescue operations began, Morrison knew that humanity had done more than just survive. They had proven why the galaxy needed species that could challenge the established order, that could see chaos not as a threat, but as an opportunity. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the universe itself celebrated the victory of possibility over certainty. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged stronger, ready to explore whatever uncertainties awaited them in the vast unknown of space. The war was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. They had shown the galaxy why uncertainty was not something to be feared, and why humans would always be ready to stand as the last line of defense for the right to embrace the unknown.